Dr. Bob McCauley, why I don't do that stuff anymore. So for many, many years I did what they call live blood analysis. Here's my microscope here. I had a 40 power. I fooled around with a 100 power optic for a while, but 40 was really, I thought, better in the range. But there's a reason why I just completely stopped doing it. Now, the first time I saw something like this and I had live blood analysis done, I just was fascinated to see my blood and what it looked like. And it looked pretty good. You know, I'd been a raw foodist maybe like 5 or 6 years, so it looked pretty good. You know, I was happy with it, but I knew I could improve. I said, boy, I got to do this. So I went out and I studied and I got certified, and you know, I knew what I was doing. And I started doing what they call live blood analysis and dried blood analysis. You go to the doctor, or you get sick, or you have cancer, or you have what are they doing constantly? Blood. If you're diabetic, well, you're constantly picking your finger and testing the blood sugar. So the blood is everything. What I noticed, first of all, is as soon as you eat something, your blood looks good, but when you eat something, it really immediately changes. And quite honestly, never for the better. Because what it shows you is that, you know, eating anything is a tremendous it's kind of a crisis for the body. If nothing else, it's a lot of work. It's a huge amount of energy. And that's one of the reasons why fasting is so incredibly important and so phenomenally healthy for the body. You know, the medical world, again, they look at everything. They take your blood. They always want the blood, because they know that tells the story. That shows you what's going on. And it's I mentioned the change in your blood after you eat, because that it's an immediate marker of your life. And it's very interesting. So I'd bring people in and they would join a club. See, clubs are protected. Clubs were formed really even at the outset of the country. And if you ever want to, you know, protect yourself from the government so they can't come in and like seize your records. Now, the medical establishment doesn't like you doing live blood analysis. Okay, this is their fiefdom. They own the blood world. You don't touch it, and you're almost like practicing medicine here. They don't like it when they see this hanging around my neck. You can imagine the blood analysis. I ain't too crazy about that, let me tell you. You don't want to go after these people. You get everybody to voluntarily join a club. They pay to join it, and basically I would charge them $30 for a live blood analysis. You know, I would refund part of the money. So it was only $5 to join the club, but those are protected. See, if somebody comes in and steals all your records, those are contracts with people, and you know, they can get a lot of trouble. This is how you protect yourself. Form a club. You want to beat this system, sort of, or get around the government? Form a club. So you sign them up, and then you pick their finger, and then you put the blood on the slide and cover it over it, and you start looking at it. As soon as you pick the finger and you see the blood, you can tell immediately what you've got. If it's all runny like this, there's a problem. Now, this is the kind of thing you would see, only this is an example of like the worst blood I ever saw. And I did this for like 5 or 6 years, maybe longer, I can't remember. But this is really the worst example. And, you know, if nothing else, it wakes people up. And you don't have to know your blood. When you see something like this, you're going, okay, that doesn't look right. I mean, they're supposed to be round blood cells bouncing off each other, some called zeta potential. But what you're looking at in here are these things that none of this belongs here. I mean, you see all the cells are oxidized. You got this giant thing hanging around. Here's some kind of crystallized material. This guy, his is looked at it from a 3D view. And what are these giant things in his blood? This is the worst example of blood I ever saw, and it wakes people up. I mean, you just have an intuitive sense that my blood should not really be looking like that. This guy in particular, this guy had Lyme's disease, the blood I just showed you. The sickest man I ever seen in my life. He literally crawled into my store. He had scales falling off of his body. I'll make a long story short. He didn't really tell me in the beginning, but he was a junk food junkie. Several years went by before he really confessed to me. He'd eat nothing but fast food. He got off of it, and within 2 weeks, he went on a raw food diet. I mean, the guy, his eyes cleared up, his skin looked great, and he was full of energy. He was clear thinking. 2 weeks, I am not joking. And then literally I didn't see him for 6 months, and he went back and he looked terrible. And I don't know if I ever saw him again after that. So it's a great analytical tool, and it's very motivating for people to look at it and see their blood and see inside themselves and go, wow, that's what I look like. That's, you know, and it really wakes them up. Does it really make them want to change their diet? Maybe sometimes. I'll tell you something, folks. If you can get people to change their diet, good luck. That's the toughest thing of all. And then there's something called dry blood analysis, and you can watch videos on that, but you put your blood on a slide, and you put it on several times, and it actually, each time you're looking at it, as it gets less and less blood on there, you're looking at 7 years. And it kind of, you see maybe here's a broken arm here, and you actually will see that 7 years out and almost healing. It's really fascinating stuff. Dry blood analysis is really more of an art than a science. But I stopped doing it, and it wasn't because, I didn't want to help people and I didn't want to show them their blood. What most people do when they do live blood analysis is they give you the live blood analysis, and then they say, oh my God, you have oxidative stress, and so, you have free radical damage, so you need these antioxidants. And they sell you something. And we found there's yeast in your blood, so we're going to give you garlic, because garlic will get rid of the yeast. And so they have all the, really selling you supplements and all that kind of stuff. And that's just not what I do. In the end, you look at blood and it's very telling, but I saw a woman and her blood looked pretty good, but she had cancer. And I told her some things to do, and she ended up passing away, but she obviously didn't really follow my advice, but she looked pretty good. I did see another guy, a real young guy. His blood was some of the worst I'd ever seen in my life, and he had cancer. But could you look at that blood and see, hey, that guy's got cancer? No. At least I couldn't. I couldn't tell diabetes. I couldn't tell any disease. But I could tell whether your blood looked good or not. And, it was pretty telling. You saw the video there of my old customer with the Lyme's disease. And he was about in his 60s. He wasn't that old. But, he was very telling. So maybe it'll wake him up. Most likely it won't. Because people just don't want to change their diet. Like for me, I've always wanted to be the healthiest person. If I got to do this to be healthy, I'll do it. And it was moving to a raw food diet. I did it. I didn't move to a raw food diet because, I'm just, one of these zealots. I just believe in veganism. I don't believe in anything. I believe in what works. I have perfect blood results. I feel fantastic, incredible energy, and I know what gives that to me. It's a diet of raw fruits and vegetables and spirulina and chlorella for my protein. I like to mention that in most of my videos because, in the end, folks, that's what I'm all about. But I don't have supplements to sell, and all I had was the same advice for every single person because I really just couldn't, tell them anything else. I mean, if you want to call spirulina and chlorella supplements, they might go buy a bag of spirulina and chlorella tablets or maybe some powder, I don't know. But did they really change their lifestyle? Did they really get healthier? The bottom line is no. It's like when, I've got a whole cancer protocol. I can tell you, you're going to take turmeric, of course, chlorella and the CGF chlorella growth factor, frankincense, of course. I have a whole list of things that I recommend for people that have cancer. But in the end, if you don't change your diet, it all comes down to your diet. If you don't change that, you're not going to get healthy. You may beat the cancer, but that's not health. It just means you survived, the cancer didn't. The cancer's still there, but believe me, if you really want health, really want true health, you got to change your diet. You can start juicing, you can start filling yourself up on raw foods or a salad before you have a cooked food meal. There's a lot of strategies. I'll do a whole video on that one of these days and show you how I transitioned. I mainly did it with like 20% of my meal being rice, and the rest was a salad. And I did that for like 4 years, and it took me 4 years to give up the rice, and I thought I needed the rice. You don't need the rice, believe me. But if you need to keep the rice, it fills you up. So that's a good strategy. What's even better? Quinoa. But in the end, my advice to people was just always the same. Move to a raw food diet. Start taking spirulina and chlorella. I didn't have pills to give them. I have supplements. I sell capsules. I sell all these herbal extracts, all this kind of stuff. But I just didn't want to address a single problem. Say, you know what? Hey, if you take some shilajit, this will really be good and help clear your blood. And your iodine, your thyroid doesn't look right. And because of this in your blood. I mean, a lot of this is just guesswork. And I'm not just trying to make money. I really am trying to make people healthy. I spent a lot of time making these rebuttal videos, and it's because, I'm just trying to get my message out there. But in the end, it was really just kind of some guesswork, and people would listen or they wouldn't. So I just suggest, here's my thing. You want to look at your blood, go look at your blood. In the end, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. What matters is what you put into your body, what your body will assimilate, and what's healthy for you. If you watch any of my video, I got a 7-component health protocol. ionized water, spirulina and chlorella, two most powerful foods in the world for your use for your protein, raw fruits and vegetables, probiotics, the friendly bacteria, prebiotics, fermented foods that are really great for your digestion, liquid angstrom minerals, you hold them under your tongue because, every physiological process depends on a particular mineral, and it's really hard to find them in your food, even if you have a broad array of foods in your diet the way I do. Vigorous exercise, positive mental attitude, and that's your spiritual side, that's your prayer, your meditation, whatever it is, but that seventh component, really, really important. So in the end, it really doesn't matter what the blood looks like. You can look at it and say, well, you're not a healthy person. Well, you already knew that. I've got cancer. I've got fibromyalgia. I've got diabetes, whatever. Okay, you knew that. Was it looking at the blood going to make a difference? Change your diet. That's what it's all about, and that's the hard part. Dr. Bob McCauley, that's why I don't do blood analysis anymore, dry blood analysis. It's a fascinating world, and if you have it done sometime, absolutely you should. It's really, really amazing, and maybe it'll wake you up and say, hey, I got to get my health back. I got to control my life. I got to empower myself. I'll see you guys next time. If you like my videos and you like what I'm doing and you like great health, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Dr. Bob, see you next time.